For 500 years, the galaxy had known peace. War had become a thing of the past. Great empires that once fought for power were now calm and lazy. The Galactic Concord, a group made up of the most powerful alien civilizations, ruled everything. Their laws were fair, their systems smooth, and their people happy. But peace had a price. Soldiers forgot how to fight. Ships were no longer built for war, only for show. The battle fleets of the Varnock, the psychic monks of Thal, the fire-eyed Kel, all now used their weapons for parades, not defense. They believed no one would ever attack again. There were no threats left, no enemies, nothing unknown. In the far reaches of the galaxy, beyond the glowing stars and humming gates, there was a planet once called Earth. It had been forgotten. Long ago, during the Age of Expansion, Earth had joined the galaxy like everyone else, but then something went wrong. A strange explosion in their jump gate sent shockwaves through space. The gate collapsed, cutting Earth off from the rest of the galaxy. Most believed the planet was destroyed. Some thought its people had died out. Others just didn't care. Earth was marked in the database as lost due to quantum instability. That was all. No rescue mission, no memory, just silence. Generations passed. Earth became a myth, like an old story children heard before bed. Then it happened. On a calm day, deep inside the Concord's central hub on the planet Virelion, a message arrived. It wasn't long. It wasn't complex. It didn't carry codes or data. It came through a private, outdated channel, one that hadn't been used in centuries. It said only one word: hello. At first, the technicians thought it was a prank, or maybe a signal echo. But when they traced it, they found something impossible. The source was Earth. Not only was Earth alive, it had power. Enough to send a message through subspace without a jump gate. That should not have been possible, not for any known species, not without Concord-approved technology. The council met in secret. 12 species sat around the great star chamber. Some had scales, some had feathers. One floated without form. They debated for hours. Could it be real? Was Earth truly back? Finally, they sent a scout. The Vasari science fleet, led by Captain Threx, was chosen. He was experienced, calm, not easily shocked. He was not ready for what he found. Earth was not dead. It was not broken. It had changed. The planet's surface had cities unlike any seen before. Tall towers made of scrap and steel, energy fields powered by storms, machines that ran without fuel. But it wasn't just the tech. It was the people. Humans. They looked familiar, but something was different. Their eyes held fire. Their movements were sharp, fast, alert. They didn't wear uniforms. They wore whatever worked. Their language had split into dozens of new forms. Their systems were not neat like Concord codes. They were wild, creative, messy, but they worked. Often better than anything the Concord had built in centuries. Captain Threx wrote in his private log, "They are not like us. They build what they need. They move fast, they break rules, they adapt. I fear we are not ready for what they have become." Earth did not ask for permission to rejoin the galaxy. It did not send ambassadors with flowers or gifts. Instead, it sent a ship, a small, strange-looking thing, made of welded metal and spinning reactors. Not elegant like Concord cruisers, not big, but it jumped directly into Concord space, without using a jump gate. That was impossible. Every ship in the Concord needed a gate. Travel without one would take years, even centuries. But the Earth ship arrived in seconds. It did not crash, it did not burn. It came in clean, smooth, and quiet. It sent one message to the nearby system: "We're back." Panic spread quickly, not because the ship attacked, because it didn't. It didn't follow protocols, it didn't ask for landing rights, it didn't explain itself. It just existed, and it had already broken every known rule. Some in the council wanted to send fighters. Others wanted to open talks. A few suggested ignoring Earth entirely. But deep inside, They all felt something cold and strange. Fear. Because for the first time in 500 years, something had happened that they did not expect, something they could not control. The nightmare wasn't a war. It wasn't a monster. It was something far worse. Humanity had survived without them, and now it had returned. The Earthship hovered silently above the Concord outpost in the Rimari system. It didn't send more messages. It didn't fire any weapons. It just waited. Inside the Concord Command Center, officers of all species watched the strange vessel with growing tension. They scanned it over and over. It had no visible weapons, no shields they could detect. Its power source was unknown. The hull was made of mixed metals, some of them outdated, others completely new. It looks like it was built in a scrapyard, one officer said. And yet, whispered another, it jumped without a gate. The Concord sent a peaceful greeting, a standard message used for first contact. No reply came. Then, without warning, a second Earthship appeared. This one was even smaller, more like a shuttle. It approached the outpost station requesting permission to dock. The station commander, Admiral Quarak, hesitated. But orders from the council were clear. Observe. Do not provoke. He allowed the ship to dock. When the doors opened, 5 humans stepped out. They wore mismatched armor, parts of old spacesuits and rough jackets with no insignia. No medals, no rank. Their leader was a tall woman with short black hair, a scar across one eye, and a steady, calm voice. I'm Commander Lyra Vaughn. We came to talk. Her voice carried no fear, no pride, just facts. Admiral Quarak greeted her with caution. You are the first humans we've seen in over 5 centuries. What happened to Earth? She smiled slightly. We survived. They were taken to the meeting hall, where representatives from 4 different species waited. Everyone expected the humans to ask for help, or maybe resources, or a way to join the Concord again. Instead, Commander Lyra asked a simple question. How much has your galaxy changed since we left? The Concord diplomats looked confused. One of them, a green-skinned Zintari elder, spoke. We've ended war. We have peace, structure, balance. There is no more chaos. We have grown past the need for violence or competition. Lyra leaned forward. And what happens when something unexpected arrives? The room fell silent. After the meeting, the humans left calmly. They gave no demands. They shared no files. Just a warning. Earth is open. We will make contact on our terms. Then they were gone. The Concord Council gathered again, this time in emergency session. The Earth visit had been quiet, but it shook the foundation of their system. Who were these humans now? What had they become in isolation? They decided to send an official delegation to Earth. This time, it would be a full observation mission led by Captain Threx and his science fleet. They would not interfere. Only study. The journey took 3 days by jump gate to the edge of the Sol system. When they arrived, Earth's defenses activated. Thousands of satellites turned toward them. Not military weapons, but strange tech. Devices that pulsed with signals and scanned the ships in ways no Concord system could block. Captain Threx was impressed. These satellites are not trying to destroy us. They're trying to learn everything about us, our systems, our weaknesses. In seconds, a message appeared on the ship's screen. Welcome to Sol. Please do not interfere with planetary activity. Observation is allowed. Aggression is not advised. The fleet followed instructions and took orbit above Earth. What they saw surprised them even more. Earth was alive, not just surviving but thriving in its own way. Mega cities stretched across continents, powered by wind, solar, and other unknown energy sources. Forests had grown between steel towers. Drones flew in swarms, building new structures in real time. Massive ships rose from oceans and entered space, piloted by small human crews. There was no central government, no universal system. Each region seemed to operate independently, yet they worked together with surprising harmony. The most amazing part? No AI controlled this world. Unlike the Concord, which relied heavily on artificial minds for order and communication, Earth had returned to human-driven systems, tools that helped but never replaced human decisions. Captain Threck sent his first report. Earth is not advanced in the way we expected. It is adapted. Every piece of this civilization was built to survive. Chaos, not avoided. Their strength is not in control but in flexibility. He requested permission to speak directly with Earth's leadership. The reply came not from a leader, but from a group of independent representatives. They called themselves the Earth Free Alliance, and though they claimed no real government. In a live transmission, a young man named Rajel Carter explained, "After the collapse, we lost everything. No trade, no aid, no AI. We were alone. We made mistakes. We fought. But we also learned how to rebuild without waiting for permission. That's why we're still here. We know you think of us as a threat, but the real threat is forgetting how to face the unknown." The Concord delegation was silent. They had expected need. They had expected gratitude. They had not expected confidence. Later that night, Captain Threx recorded a private log. "These humans are not dangerous because they want to conquer. They are dangerous because they no longer depend on anything. We built. We forgot how to live without systems. They never had the chance to forget. If Earth has returned, then the galaxy must prepare for change, one way or another." After the Concorde's visit to Earth, many in the galaxy began to whisper. How strong were the humans now? Were they peaceful, or just pretending? Did they have secret weapons? The Concorde Council decided to find out. They invited Earth to a special event, the Unity War Games. It was a friendly military exercise held every 10 years. Star nations sent ships and soldiers to compete in mock battles. No real weapons, no danger, just practice and teamwork. The Council hoped to study Earth's military. If humans were weak, the galaxy could relax. If they were strong, the Concord would plan a careful response. Earth accepted the invitation, but instead of sending a fleet or an army, Earth sent one ship, the ESS Black Fang. It looked old, rusty, small compared to the clean, shiny Concord cruisers. Most people laughed when they saw it. "That can't be serious," a Varnock officer said. "It's smaller than a mining drone." But the humans inside were calm. The Black Fang had a crew of only 12. No fancy uniforms, no gold badges, just a mixed group of humans in simple gear. Their leader was a quiet man named Captain Rourke. Fergie. Asked why Earth sent only one ship, Rourke replied, "We don't believe in wasting resources. One is enough." The others laughed again. The war games began. In the first round, the Black Fang faced off against a Concorde battle squadron, 5 ships, fully equipped with training weapons and defense systems. Within 60 seconds, all 5 ships were marked as disabled. The audience stared in shock. The simulation system was fair and accurate. There was no cheating. Replay footage showed something strange. The Black Fang had used no weapons. Instead, it sent a wave of data, some kind of code, into the enemy ships. Suddenly, those ships shut down. Their engines froze. Their targeting systems spun in circles. Their shields dropped. The humans had hacked them in seconds, and they had done it using only light signals, flashes from their hull. It was like magic, but it was science. Human science. The next round began. The Black Fang faced a fleet from the Juralan Defense Union, known for their strong electronic security. This time, the human ship vanished. Not physically, it was still on sensors, but the data feeds showed nothing, no signal, no movement. It was like a ghost. Then, one by one, the Juralan ships began to fire at each other. The game masters had to shut down the simulation to stop the chaos. A Concord general stood up and shouted, "This is unfair. You're using unknown systems." Captain Rourke only said, "You invited us to a game. We played it our way." The council met in private after the third round. The humans had not just won. They had made the Concorde look foolish. The problem wasn't just that Earth had strange technology. The real problem was this: they fought differently. They didn't follow patterns. They didn't rely on systems or commands. They used tricks, surprises, creative tactics that no one else thought of. Concord soldiers were trained to follow rules. Human fighters broke them, and that scared the council more than anything. A senior counselor, Zarn of the Tyrex Dominion, spoke carefully. They do not fight to win. They fight so the enemy never knows what's coming. It is unpredictable. Another added, unpredictable means uncontrollable. The council wanted answers. Captain Threx, who had once visited Earth, gave his report. They did not spend their lost centuries building a perfect system. They spent it surviving, learning, changing. They have no central command, yet they move as one. They have no official fleet, yet they master every tool of war. They fear no system, because they already lived without one. Back at the War Games, the final test was a full simulation, all 24 Concord teams versus the Black Fang. It was meant to show unity and strength. The human ship entered the center of the arena. 24 ships surrounded it. It should have been over in seconds. But before anyone fired, every Concord ship shut down. The lights went dark, screens froze, alarms screamed, not just in the arena, but across the entire simulation network. When systems came back online, the Black Fang had written one sentence across every ship's screen. "We see your system. We beat it before you fired." It was not a threat. It was a lesson. The Concord had grown comfortable in peace. Their systems were strong but rigid. They had lost the ability to deal with chaos. Humans had lived in chaos for centuries. They were ready for anything. And now, they were back. Later. That night, Captain Rourke gave an interview to a Concord news drone. He spoke slowly, clearly. "We don't want war. We didn't come to fight. But if you invite us to play your game, be ready for how we play. The galaxy is big, peace is good, but peace built on habits can't survive real change. And change is coming." The galaxy was quiet after that, but it wasn't the peace of comfort anymore. It was the silence before a storm. Because the nightmare had arrived. Not of violence, but of unpredictable minds. And the galaxy had no defense against that. The Black Fang returned to Earth, but the echoes of what it had done during the War Games spread faster than light. News reports across the galaxy showed the moment when 24 Concord ships shut down before even firing a single shot. Videos of Captain Rourke's calm words were shared in every system, watched again and again. He had not shouted. He had not threatened. But still, his message had landed like a hammer. Be ready for how we play. Across the Concord, citizens were stunned. Most had grown up believing the galaxy was safe. That war was behind them. That everything worked because the system was perfect. Now many were asking the same question. What if Earth could break the system until? The Grand Chamber of the Concord Council, the 12 ruling species met again. The chamber was quiet, heavy with tension. Some wanted peace, some wanted war, but no one had answers. Councillor Velen of the Varnock spoke first. "We must contain Earth's influence. Their ideas are dangerous." Councillor Hilira of the Thal disagreed. "They have not harmed anyone. They only showed us that we have grown too soft." Others spoke of defense plans, secret surveillance, and backup protocols. But deep inside, all of them knew the truth. They were afraid. Not of Earth's weapons, not of its technology, but of something worse, Earth's people. Humans were unpredictable. They didn't think like others. They didn't follow the patterns that Concord had built over 5 centuries. They adapted, they moved fast, and they never asked permission. In the weeks that followed, strange things began to happen. In the Rimari sector, a group of independent planets announced they would start trading directly with Earth. They didn't ask for Concord approval. In the Helix cluster, Concord patrol ships reported that human-made drones had entered their space and disappeared without leaving a trace. On the edge of the null zone, a forgotten mining colony sent a message. "Earth helped us fix our reactor. We owe them." These were not acts of war. They were signs of something spreading, Influence. On Earth, things were quiet as usual. Commander Lyra Vaughn sat in her outpost on Mars, watching reports from across the galaxy. She sipped recycled tea from a metal cup and smiled. "They're not scared of our ships," she said. "They're scared of our freedom." Across from her, a young pilot named June frowned. "But we didn't even try to scare them." Lyra nodded. "Exactly." She turned to the screen, where a list of contacts grew longer each day. Rogue engineers, forgotten colonies, small planets tired of conquered rules, all reaching out to Earth for something different. "Change always starts small," Lyra whispered. "But once it starts, it never stops." Far across the stars, Captain Threx stood inside the Concord archives, deep under the surface of Virelian Prime. He had seen Earth with his own eyes. He had read the old records, the wars, the history, the fall of Earth's first empire. But now something new bothered him. He asked the archive AI, "Show me Earth's development record over the last 500 years. The AI showed charts and graphs. For the first 100 years after the gate collapse, Earth had fallen into chaos. No power, no unity, no contact. But then something changed. Humans began to rebuild, not through one government, but through many. Small cities became strong. Local systems were created. Knowledge was shared, not controlled. Instead of one leader, Earth had thousands of thinkers. It had grown like a forest, not built in straight lines, but wild, flexible, and strong. Threx shook, his head slowly. "We built a tower. They became a storm." He knew what it meant. The Concord was not facing an enemy. It was facing an idea. Back on Virelian, student protests began. Young aliens marched through the education halls chanting for reform. "We want choice. We want freedom to connect. We want human data unlocked." The council banned Earth's direct transmissions, but it was too late. The data was already copied and shared. Human designs, human thoughts, even human music were spreading faster than any firewall could stop. In one protest, a young Thal student shouted, "They lived without you. That means we can too." The guards pulled him away, but the spark had already caught fire. In response, the council took action. They formed a special unit, the Stellar Security Authority. Its job, monitor and limit Earth's influence. Its method, silence. But when they tried to block Earth signals, something strange happened. Their systems failed, not destroyed, not hacked, just confused. Human code was strange. It didn't follow the rules. It rewrote itself. It lived like a virus, not harmful, but impossible to stop. A Concord tech chief whispered to herself, "They didn't build machines. They built ideas that move." On a quiet moon orbiting Zethar 6, a secret meeting took place. 6 captains from 6 different species, all former military, all tired of council control. One said, "Earth didn't attack us. They reminded us." Another added, "We've forgotten how to think for ourselves." And another whispered, "If they can do it, maybe we can too." They called themselves the New Dawn, and they made contact with Earth. The nightmare wasn't. Of course, the nightmare was change. Fast, sharp, and unstoppable, and the galaxy was waking up to it. The galaxy's peace was cracking. The Concord Council's control weakened as Earth's influence grew. Small groups in many systems quietly changed their minds and plans. Some wanted freedom like Earth's. Others wanted power. The secret group, called the New Dawn, worked fast. They met in hidden places across the stars. Dark asteroid belts, old space stations, even abandoned moons. Their goal was clear: break the Concord's control and let systems decide for themselves. On the planet Valara Prime, a large industrial world, a young pilot named Sora watched the news. The broadcasts showed protests, secret attacks on Concord, supply ships, and messages from Earth encouraging change. Sora clenched her fists. Her family had served the Concord military for generations. She had trained since childhood to protect the peace. But now she wondered if the peace was real. Her captain called her. Sora, we've received orders to intercept an unregistered ship near the null zone. It's believed to have Earth connections. Sora nodded. I'm ready. Far away, the Earth Free Alliance was growing bolder. Commander Lyra Vaughn sat with her team planning their next steps. They didn't want war, but they wouldn't back down. We must show the galaxy that freedom is possible, she said. But we must be smart. A technician brought news. A new group from the Concord was hunting Earth sympathizers. They called themselves the Stellar Security Authority. Lyra frowned. Then we must protect our friends. On the edge of the null zone, Sora's ship moved fast. Her squadron caught sight of a small, dark vessel. No markings, no response to calls. She signaled to her team, "Prepare to board." They landed their fighters on the ship's surface, cutting. Through locked doors with plasma cutters, inside they found nothing. No weapons. No soldiers. Only a data core glowing softly. Sora ordered the data core secured. We must get this back to Valara for analysis. Back on Valara, the data core was decrypted. Inside were messages, plans, maps, evidence of Earth's growing network. In the galaxy, coordinates to secret meeting points, names of people who wanted change. The news spread quickly. The Concord Council was furious. This is rebellion, they said. This is war. But on Earth, Lyra saw a different truth. This is the galaxy waking up, she said. Sora struggled with her orders. She had always believed in the Council's vision. But now she saw how many people wanted something else. Her captain told her, "You must follow orders." But Sora looked at the messages from Earth and the names of people helping each other. She asked herself, what is the real peace? Meanwhile, the new dawn grew stronger. They planned a bold move, a public demonstration of power to show the Concord they could not control the galaxy forever. Their target, the Concord's main communication hub in the star system of Althar. If they could disrupt the hub, Concord's control over many systems would be lost. The operation was risky, but the new dawn believed it was necessary. The day of the attack came. Sora was ordered to defend the communication hub. She and her squadron prepared for battle. As enemy, ships approached, the sky filled with fast-moving fighters and explosions. But then a strange thing happened. Among the attackers were ships with Earth designs, ships that moved differently, unpredictably. Sora's squadron struggled to keep up. During the chaos, Sora caught a glimpse of a message on her screen. "We fight for freedom, not conquest." The attackers were not enemies. They were messengers of change. Sora faced a choice: fight for the old peace, the strict rules of the Concord, or join the new future, chaotic, uncertain, but free. At that moment, a ship from Earth appeared, led by Commander Lyra Vaughn herself. She hailed Sora directly. "Do not fight your own people, this is the future." Sora hesitated. Her training told her to shoot. Her heart told her to listen. The battle ended not with destruction, but with a ceasefire. The Concord was shaken. The galaxy was changing fast. Back on Earth, Lyra spoke to her people. "We do not want to destroy the galaxy," she said. "We want to rebuild it together, but we will not wait for permission." The Concord Council faced its biggest crisis yet. Old alliances broke, new ones formed, and through it all, the nightmare from Earth, unpredictable, unstoppable, moved forward. The galaxy was no longer the same. Old powers had shaken. New ideas moved like waves through stars. The nightmare from Earth was not destruction. It was change. After the ceasefire at Althar, many in the Concord Council realized they could not keep the old peace forever. Councillor Velen, once a strong voice for control, now spoke differently. "We cannot fight the future," he said quietly. "We must learn from it." But not everyone agreed. Some wanted to crush the Earth influence. Others wanted to run away from it. On Earth, Commander Lyra Vaughn prepared a message for the entire galaxy. Her voice was calm but firm. "We are not conquerors," she said. "We are survivors, thinkers, and fighters for freedom. The galaxy can be better if we work together. She offered peace, but with a new rule. Freedom could not be controlled by one group or one system. Sora, the pilot, from Valara Prime, stood on a hill looking at the stars. She thought about the battle, the choice she made, and the future she wanted. She knew the galaxy was dangerous, but it was also full of hope. In the months that followed, the Conquered Council opened talks with Earth and the groups inspired by it. It was not easy. Old fears ran deep. Old wounds did not heal quickly, but slowly systems began to listen. The New Dawn helped create a new agreement, a treaty based on respect and cooperation, not control. They called it the Galactic Renewal Pact. It promised freedom to all planets, to govern themselves, cooperation on technology and knowledge, defense only when truly needed, not for power. The first ceremony to sign the pact was held on a neutral space station orbiting a small star. Representatives from hundreds of worlds gathered. Captain Threx, once a skeptic, now spoke in support. "This is not the end of peace," he said. "It is the beginning of understanding." Earth's representatives smiled. Commander Lyra Vaughn and her team stood proudly but humbly. They knew the fight was not over. Change never ends. But now the galaxy had a chance to grow together. On Valara Prime, Sora flew her fighter among new friends, former enemies, now allies. The stars seemed brighter. The future seemed open. She whispered to herself, "We survived the nightmare. Now, we build the dawn." Far away in the quiet corners of space, Earth's ships continued to move, not as conquerors, but as guides and friends. The galaxy was large, the future was wide, and for the first time in centuries, hope was stronger than fear.